Imposter syndrome. I think everyone has felt some degree of this at one point in their life. Whether or not that's a sense of inadequacy or a feeling of undeserving, imposter syndrome really sucks. If you're like me, then there's this voice in the back of your head that says to you, who do you think you are? Why are you doing this when there are so many other people that are better than you and just more talented than you? You are not good enough. And that voice makes it really hard to sometimes make these videos and share my photos. And it's like pulling teeth to get it done or to upload it. So why do I do it despite feeling like that? I think it's because I came to the realization that I will never be good enough. Okay, so what do I mean by that? Because that can sound like I'm being overly self-critical or complacent or okay with being mediocre, which is definitely not my intention. Let's focus in on that idea of being good enough. I think this phrase is this vague and undefined idea that people like to set up as their goal. But it doesn't really have any substance to it. People like to say, I just want to be good enough, or I hope I'm good enough. But what does that actually mean? When do you know that you have become good enough? What's the benchmark? And in the case that you do become quote unquote good enough, what comes after that? In my opinion, this isn't a real goal. It's not specific, it's not measurable, and it's not objective. It's not something that you can reflect on and provide guidance for you to continue to grow. It's a subjective feeling that can change from day to day. So if you're like me and you find it really easy to be down on yourself for not being good enough, what's the solution? For me, I first start off with identifying where I am right now in my personal development. Am I working towards a goal? Am I dissatisfied with something in my life? Or am I actually pretty content? First, figuring out where you are right now is the first step in escaping that trap of wanting to be good enough. There's this cycle that I've observed in my life, not just for creative endeavors, but in pretty much everything that I do. It's this loose framework that's divided into 7 stages that help me orientate myself and identify certain feelings and rhythms in my life, specifically for areas that I'm looking to grow in. It helps me to categorize what I'm feeling into these several areas. And I want to share that with you because I think it'll be really helpful. So let's go through that together. Number 1, goal setting from a perceived need or desire. What do you want to accomplish and why? This is the first thing you need to figure out when you're entering this cycle. If it's something that you want to do because it's cool, that is enough. It doesn't have to be any more complex than that. If you have something that is really meaningful and significant to you, great, that'll help as a motivator. But not every single goal has to be this big thing. Even if it's just as simple as wanting to do more research into the thing that you find cool to start developing more goals is an awesome goal in itself. So keep it easy, keep it simple, and to start getting at it. Number 2, working towards the goal. This is where you'll be actively pursuing your goal and working towards accomplishing it. Motivation will play a big factor in this, and it'll be easy to become discouraged as a result of impatience or even burnt out from fixation on working towards the goal. I fall into both of these camps, so I have to really force myself to slow down and be patient. Self-regulation is key here because there's an unhealthy obsession with being fixated and grinding and working on it constantly, but that might not be a healthy relationship with your goals. So slow down, enjoy the ride, and be patient, no matter how hard it is. Number 3, reaching the result. Naturally, the outcome of working towards your goal are success or failure. Success being defined by accomplishing your goal in the time that you wanted, so you can give yourself a pat on the back. And failure being that you are unable to accomplish your goal for whatever reason in the context that you had wanted. And these are the 2 natural consequences of working towards your goals. This naturally brings us to stage 4, closure. Celebrating your successes and mourning your failures are a key stage in this cycle. This is a very personal expression of satisfaction or disappointment. Whether or not that's a small, hey I did it, or a dang that was a bummer. For small goals, or for a huge goal, it might be an extended period of contentment or a huge sense of loss. But no matter what it is, acknowledging the conclusion and the closure to your goal is key to this cycle. Number 5, resting. This is actually one of the most important steps in the whole cycle, but it's actually surprisingly hard. Resting allows for you to regain motivation and energy to continue on working towards new goals. For me, I know I tend to just jump in directly into the next thing and work on the next thing, and I just tire myself out. So I've started to kind of hold off sometimes from shooting when I feel like I should, because I want to take photos and videos. And by holding off, I start to get that itch to start again. Resting can sometimes make you feel a little guilty or a little bit of shame for needing that break. But resting and laziness are not the same. Resting is this practice of returning to a state where you can put the fullest effort and create the best work you can. So it's okay to take a break. And it's actually healthy to take a break, so do so. And what that looks like is really up to you. But stepping away to get that energy and that motivation back is really important. Number 6, desire for growth. So eventually, or even immediately after, you may find something that you weren't too happy with, or something that you want to add to your process. Whether or not this is from noticing something that you overlooked, or an improved skill set that allows you to see things that you want to improve on, or external feedback from somebody you respect. This is an important phase that acts as a catalyst for growth again. Being dissatisfied with parts of your work does not mean that you failed. Hindsight is 20/20, and there will always be something that you want to improve on, and that's okay. And that's why number 7 is self-reflection and perspective reorientation. This is a time for you to reflect and to note specific things that you want to improve in or add to your process next time. This provides the framework for your next cycle of goal development and adds to your checklist of things that determine success and failure. This is also a time for you to undergo a reevaluation of the direction of your efforts and paradigm shifts. You as a person are constantly evolving, and therefore your goals should be as well. Constant refinement shows true growth and development. From there, you start setting new goals and the cycle begins again. So those are the 7 parts of the goal development cycle that I've identified in my life. I hope that was helpful. It doesn't account for things like loss of motivation or unhealthy relationships with success and failure, but it is a general way that helps organize thoughts and categorize rhythms of different goals that you have running all at the same time. It helps me a lot, and I hope it does for you as well. Bringing it back to the question, why do I share my work despite not feeling like it's good enough? I do it because good enough doesn't exist. I do it because I want to commit to documenting my progress, and in doing so, learning how to be humble and admitting to myself that there is so much more for me to learn. And that's okay. I tend to be a very impatient person, as I said before, and I get really in my head and frustrated about how I'm not already at my end goal. I just want to be good at this stuff now. But that's really arrogant of me to expect to be able to be good at this stuff without the struggle and without the work put in. Comparing myself to the people that I respect and wishing I had their skills right now without that effort is also wrong. So doing my best with my skills right now and being happy with the results, yet acknowledging that there's still so much more for me to learn is the way to go. I'm not aiming to be good enough. I'm aiming to be good at what I do. Thanks for watching. I hope you found this whole video useful, because it's something that I've really used in the past several months as I've continued to become more intentional with how I'm trying to grow in my photography and my videography. So I wanted to kind of share that with you guys. And it's also a good reminder for myself to not get caught up in my own head. There's so many things I didn't get to touch on, but I would love to hear your thoughts down in the comments below. So please like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll see you again next time. Bye.